Yeah.
What the hell has happened to the Spartans?
Well, they're decimated with injuries that they can't handle. They were already thin, and now you take away two of their best players, right? You take away two of their most talented guys, and they're not the same team. And, oh, by the way, Mady Sissoko, who we thought was Hakeem Olajuwon the first couple games, has returned to being Mady Sissoko. And he's fine. He's a good, solid player. But, like, this is not a great Michigan State team to begin with. And you take away Jaden Akins, who again, like, has played a little bit, but he's been hurt throughout the year. And now you're without Malik Hall, who's their veteran. They're in a little bit of trouble right now. They are.
Jeff, can I ask you a quick follow-up here?
Yeah.
Because I do want to talk about the other side. It's pretty well documented that Chris Collins has pressure to do some winning here this year at Northwestern. So they're about to go to 6-2 on the season. Any thought process with the Wildcats here? They're about to beat Michigan State and Collins this particular year.
I mean, it's a hell of a win, certainly for Chris Collins. He'll take all the wins he can get right now, and he'll try to save his job. I think he needs probably, an NIT appearance, something of that nature, to be able to get another year. That would be my guess. He's got a new AD. The guy who hired him is now the ACC commissioner, Jim Phillips. So anytime you have a new AD, that's not a good sign for you. But again, you're not beating, to me, Michigan State. You're not beating them whole. Jaden Akins, he played 23 minutes tonight, but he had 3 points. He was ineffective. Malik Hall's still out. And again, it goes back to me, how Tom Izzo never went to the portal. How he brought the same team back, not even the same team because he lost a couple of guys, but pretty much the same team back when everybody else went to the portal. Tom Izzo did not, and I think it's going to end up, and I think it already is, biting him in the ass because they're not deep enough. Even if he had gotten another mid-major guy or two, just to give him some quality depth for times like this when you're down men.
Crazy the days we were saying, like, hey, Michigan State should have went to the portal. It's wild, but no, they're right. They're injured. There's no depth. That's a recipe for disaster. Northwestern, Coach Collins is fighting for his, a life essentially in the sense of college basketball, and this is a big win for him. And the Big Ten just keeps. It's a tricky league, man. It's a tricky league.
Not a lot of separation, especially right now. Like, we thought Michigan State at its peak, Michigan State was really good earlier this season. Obviously, we saw them, hang with Gonzaga on the ship. They should have had that game, right, John?
Yeah, no, they should have. And Gonzaga, I love how they've been playing the heavy hitters, but that they should have had that game. And they've been playing really well as of late. And injuries is just part of the game. And it seems like there's been a lot more injuries this year than more so than not. So I don't know what trend that is.
I got an idea as it pertains to the young guys, not necessarily the veterans, but the young guys. They all have agents because of NIL now, John, legally. They have these. They're not your typical agents. They're not necessarily the Bill Duffys and the Jeff Schwartzes of the world, but they're NIL agents. And I think a lot of these guys are still in their ear, where normally you would be listening to one guy, and that was Roy Williams, whether you were hurt as a freshman, right, coming in. And now you're listening to maybe an NIL agent who's saying, hey, John, you know what? If you're not 100%, you do not want to go out there and hurt your draft stock.